If you feel stuck, tired of trying, and deep down you know there must be another way to change, listen carefully, because most people believe change comes from something outside of them. The next pill, this new person, this solution that will finally fix how they feel. But what if that belief is exactly why so many feel exhausted, anxious, and disconnected today? These are 5 lessons I wish I knew in my 20s. Lately, I see this everywhere around me. People who feel depressed or anxious are often told they need medication or a psychologist to heal themselves. There is so much happening around us, so much external stimulation, so much negative news that keeps the nervous system in constant state of fears. And this is not your fault, because we are programmed this way. We have been conditioned for decades to believe that healing and change come from the outside, right? So, if you are familiar with the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza and his book You Are the Placebo, then you understand this idea that if thoughts can make the body sick, then your thoughts can also heal the body, right? And that's exactly why I want to share this message with you, because these are my 5 lessons I wish I knew in my 20s. So life lesson 1 is this: you cannot change your life if your body does not feel safe. And when I was younger, I grew up in a home where there was a lot of tension. My parents fought a lot with words, not always loud, but there was always this feeling, this tension in the room that something could explode at any moment. And as a child, I became very alert. I was always watching them, trying to read the situation and feel what mood was coming next, right? For me as a child, this felt sometimes very unsafe and very stressful in my environment. So without realizing it, I became a worrier. I started overthinking everything, trying to predict problems before they even happened, trying to stay safe by thinking my way out of it, right? Thinking my way out of the fear. And as I grew older, there was so many unresolved emotions inside me that I didn't know how I could handle these problems. So I started drinking on my 16 with friends, because it was the only way I knew how to quit my thoughts, how to deal with my fears, and how to get rid of my emotions. But of course, it didn't help me. So years later, I decided I needed some help. So I went to a psychologist and we talked about my childhood, and we talked about the unsafe feelings I had when I grew up. And at first it felt logical. I believed that if I understood it deeply enough, something would finally click and fears and anxiety would disappear. But something strange happened. The more I talked about it, the more I was reliving my old emotions. I was repeating the same memories, the same emotions, the same stress responses in my body over and over and over again. And after years of doing this, I realized something that changed everything for me. Thinking about the past did not make me feel safe. It actually made me feel more unsafe, more worse. But then I came across the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and that completely shifted my perspective. I learned that research shows that less than 50% of what we remember from the past is actually accurate and really happened in your past. So your brain fills in the gaps with emotions, with fear, and with personal interpretation. And when I heard that, it really hit me. Because if so much of what I remember is distorted, why would I keep going back there, right? Back to the past. Why would I keep reliving that same moment over and over again that no longer exists in this moment? And that was the moment I understood this important thing. The past only exists as memories, as old thoughts, right? And when you think or talk about the past, your body relives that same emotion, that same thoughts, the same feelings as if it is happening right now. So after reading Dr. Joe's work, I realized that if I wanted to feel safe, I had to stop living in my past. But back then, that was easier said than done. So the real question became this: how do you start to feel safe in the present moment? And For me personally, the answer was not more thinking. It was teaching my body and my nervous system how to feel safe again. And that realization opened the door to everything that came next. Because one of the biggest things I wish I knew in my 20s, and that was a real game changer for me, was breath work. And the reason is actually very simple. Breath work taught my nervous system that the danger was no longer here, that I could feel safe again. By changing the way I breathe, I changed the signals I was sending to my body. And when the body feels safe, it can finally let go of old stress and old stored emotions. You can make better choices. Your digestion starts to function normally, function better, and you start to feel much lighter. And that's why breathwork became one of the most powerful tools in my life. It helped me stop living in the past and start living in the present moment. And that's one of the life lessons I truly wish I knew in my 20s. So feeling safe was the first step, but it immediately led me to the next lesson, and that's lesson number 2. And that is, and then what? Because for a long time, I believed that once I reached a certain goal, I would finally feel happy. More money, more success, more freedom. But deep down, I now see it was always the same thing underneath. I was searching for a feeling of safety. Every time I reached something, the same question appeared again and again. And then what? And then I will be happy? But then I learned it does not work this way, because you are still waiting for something outside of you to change how you feel on the inside. And this is exactly why so many people feel unhappy today. Nothing in the outside world can create lasting fulfillment. If you are not okay on the inside, no achievement will fix that. No success, no money, no material things. And trust me, I know this from experience, because I worked in the financial industry for over 15 years with multi-millionaires, people that have a lot of money. And I can tell you this, even with millions in the bank, many of them could not enjoy a simple Sunday afternoon with their family because they were not fully present. And think about this for a moment. If you remove everything from this world, the people, the objects, the achievements, and even the sun, if you remove this, what remains is silence and space, right? So if you cannot stay there in that dark space, in that dark surrounding, if you cannot be at peace with yourself in that quiet space, nothing you add on the outside will ever be enough, right? And that realization changed everything for me. And this is why my gratitude moments in the morning became such a powerful practice in my life. Not as positive thinking, but as a way to train my nervous system to feel whole now at this moment. And when you practice gratitude every day, your body starts to learn this new emotional state. And each time you feel gratitude, you fire and wire new connections inside your brain. And over time, you begin to feel different. Not because life suddenly changes, but because you have changed from the inside out. So every morning, I take a few minutes to write down what I'm grateful for. Even the small things, a roof over my head, my health, the sunlight outside, the family I have. Gratitude taught me how to feel complete in this moment right now, in the present moment. And when you stop chasing happiness in the future, when I have this and then what? And this is one of the most important lessons I wish I knew in my 20s, because when I stopped chasing fulfillment on the outside, I started to notice different things. One of the things was how often my attention was being pulled away without me realizing it. And that's lesson number 3. The pendulum problem and where you put your attention. And this lesson came to me when I started to notice something about myself. I was constantly reacting to life, to people, to situations, even to the thoughts in my own head. And looking back, it makes sense. Growing up in a home with a lot of tension trained my nervous system to always be alert, right? Always scanning the outside world. Always focused on what could go wrong next. Without realizing it, my attention was almost always outside of myself. And later, when I came across the work of Vadim Zeland, something clicked. He talks about pendulums. A pendulum is created when many people give their attention to one same thing. Fear, drama, problems, opinions. A pendulum lives from attention, and it does not matter if that attention is positive or negative. As long as you react emotionally, the pendulum feeds on your energy. And the more you react, the more energy you give away. So when I look back at my own life, I saw how often I was caught in those pendulums. The news, other people talking negative about me trying to control outcomes I couldn't control. So this is what I learned. My attention was being stolen every single time. And like you know, energy always flows where your attention goes, right? So think of it like this. Your attention is like a beam of light. And when that light is scattered all over the place everywhere, nothing really happens. But when you focus that light through a magnifying glass, through one single point, it becomes really powerful, so powerful that it can create a heat of fire. So whatever you focus on becomes stronger because you are feeding it with your energy. And this was the moment I truly understood this lesson. You do not have to fight the pendulums. I needed to stop feeding them attention. And the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop paying attention to it, that's the moment the pendulum loses its power over you. This changed everything for me. And this is why awareness became so important. Consciously choosing where my attention goes changed my frequency and completely changed how I experience the world right now. Because I stopped reacting to everything around me. And then I started to feel how much energy I was losing by not being myself. And that is life lesson number 4. Being your authentic self. Because for most of my life, I thought I was doing the right thing. I learned to read the energy in the room. I adjusted myself to make other people feel comfortable. I tried to keep everyone at peace. But the truth is, I was not always being myself. I was adapting, wearing a mask, without even realizing it myself. And this started early for me. Growing up in an intense environment taught me that fitting in felt safer than standing out. So I became very good at adjusting to other people, at feeling what others needed, at putting myself second. And that's also my power, that I can read other people. But I think a lot of people live this way, walking with a mask in front of their face, and if you do this for too long, something happens inside of you. You lose touch with who you really are. And that is often where feelings of emptiness or depressions begin. And that's why I want to show you a short clip of Jim Carrey talking about depression.
And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me. You know, you should think of the word of depressed as deep rest. Deep rest. Your body needs to be depressed. It needs deep rest from the character that you've been trying to play.
And that's why I began to understand why being authentic is so important. It is about allowing yourself to be real, to connect with others without pretending to be someone else, to be vulnerable. And here's the key part. Authenticity only becomes possible when you feel safe enough to be yourself. And when you allow that, something will shift. Your body relaxes, your energy comes back. You stop leaking energy into pleasing other people. You also connect faster with people because people do not connect with masks. They connect with honesty, with vulnerability, with real human beings. And to be honest, we already have enough copies in this world, enough people trying to be someone else. What this world actually needs is you, the real you. So I truly wish I had understood this in my 20s. Being authentic changed how I showed up in the world, but staying in that state required something else. Consistency. And that's lesson number 5. You must train the state you want to live in. After everything I learned about safety, attention, gratitude, and authenticity, there was still one missing piece. Because knowing is not enough. You can understand all of this, but if you do not practice it, your body will fall back into old patterns. Life keeps happening. Stress comes and goes. Distractions come back. Old habits come back. And that's why meditation became so important for me. Because meditation is the moment where you stop doing and start being. Where you constantly choose a new inner state. And for me that was heart-brain coherence. Bringing my attention to my heart. Breathing slowly. Actively feeling love and gratitude. Not thinking about it, but really feeling it. You are showing your nervous system what calm, love and safety feels like. And the key is repetition. Feeling this state over and over and over again. But here's where many people get stuck. They try meditation, they do not feel results right away, and they stop. And this is exactly why I made my next video, where I wasted 2 years doing Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations the wrong way. And I share my 5 biggest mistakes so you do not fall into the same trap as I did. So if you truly want to change in your life, this is the next video you need to watch. This is the final lesson I truly wish I knew in my 20s. Love you all, and I will see you in the next video.